Surveillance and intelligence gathering are some of the sophisticated methods that law enforcement agents use to tackle security challenges. Now, this helps them gather information sufficient enough to prevent a crime that is yet to be committed, intervene in one that is being committed, and also investigate one that has already been committed. Now, today we explore efforts at solving security challenges in Nigeria through intelligence gathering and surveillance. But that will be after the crime news. Hello and welcome to Crime Watch. I'm Ivy Kano.
Any member of the Islamic movement of Nigeria who stages any public demonstration would be arrested and charged under the Terrorism Act 2013. This warning was laid down by the Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu, at a meeting with senior officers of the force headquarters. The police chief condemned the activities of the proscribed movement, designating them a terror group.
If the members who decide to come out again, I've said it in my speech, we'll get them arrested and we shall prosecute them under the Terrorism Act.
Taraba State recorded a level of success in the fight against insecurity as the police have killed 4 suspected kidnappers in Bali local government area. The men of the Special Anti-Kidnapping Squad and the mobile police have engaged in a duel with the bandits at their mountain-top hideout. The operation was launched along with the vigilante group after a tip-off from locals of Kungana village in Bali.
A group of kidnappers were sighted at Jato Mountains, that is Bali local government, along Suntai Road, and that has been a spot where the suspected kidnappers usually keep their victims. And having received such report, the DPO in charge of that area mobilized and launched a surprise attack against the kidnappers. Consequently, 4 of them were gunned down by our operatives.
When news filtered in that they have been rescued, journalists and government officials gathered at the Kwara State Police Command headquarters in Ilorin to witness their arrival. They look weak and unkempt as a result of what they were made to go through within the 1 week. Medical personnel had to quickly give them first aid. Kwara State Commissioner of Police Kayode Egbetokun disclosed that they were rescued in the bush after 1 week of searching.
Our combined efforts started yielding results yesterday when one of the gang members was nabbed at Bubu village. This put pressure on other members of the gang to release the hostages unconditionally.
He denied that any ransom was paid, though the kidnappers demanded for 100 million naira on each of the 4.
I want to say that no ransom was paid in the release of these hostages. Ransom was demanded, but I'm telling you that no ransom was paid here.
Egbetokun acknowledged the contributions of the Fulani community and local vigilantes towards the rescue of the Turkish nationals.
We have been assisted by the Fulani community in the area. I thank the vigilante group. I thank the Seriki Fulani of Kwara State, who has been with us from the beginning of the incident.
The 4 Turkish nationals were kidnapped at a local joint in Bali, a local government area of Kwara State. After receiving medical treatment, they have been transferred to the police headquarters in Abuja for formal handing over to their employers. 4 suspects were arrested in connection with the kidnap, while others are still at large. At the meantime, the Vigilante Group of Nigeria has denied laying claim to the rescue of the kidnapped Turkish nationals. There were unconfirmed reports on social media that vigilantes, rather than the police, Fred the Turkish. Speaking with journalists, the Kwara State Secretary of the Vigilante Group of Nigeria, Ahmed Magaji, said it was a joint effort by the police, local vigilante, and members of Miyetti Allah cattle breeders.
The commander for local government, Saliu Eni Mohammed, for the local government, informed us, say that this is what's happening at their place. So we tell them that they should join hand with the police. They go. They say, okay, they already send police control. They follow them. That's all. What they told me, they say police and the vigilante and the Miyetti Allah join hand to arrest the people.
Miyetti Allah vigilante with police, they are the first for the Kwara command. They are the first people arrested, the criminals at Achuaji after Partiji in the morning on Thursday. No any BGN there.
I made it clear that we work with the vigilante group. We work with everybody, especially the Fulani vigilante in that area. And I thanked everybody involved. In the rescue of the 4 abducted Turkish nationals, taking personal glory was never our primary concern. We were absolutely committed to getting the captives freed, and we are happy we did. Anybody is free to make whatever claim they want to make. But let them note that whatever claim they are making is not going to fetch them money from government.
Welcome to this special interview segment on Crime Watch, and today we'll be treating Nigeria's security challenges through intelligence gathering and surveillance. Welcome to the program, sir. Now my question is, why has it been so difficult for Nigeria to get intelligence gathering and surveillance right?
Having intelligence is one thing, capitalizing it, analyzing it is another thing, and capitalizing on it is a third thing. So there are 3 steps here. Intelligence is not self-effectuating, if I may. Intelligence is defined as processed information. Now, when that information has been processed and artfully analyzed, that means we bring in structured analytical tools, SATs, to analyze the intelligence. It now produces what we call intelligence products. That's the products of analysis, if you may. That means the knowledge that we derive from that intelligence. Because the intelligence in and of itself is, in fact, considered most of the time to be in a raw form. You know, that is, yes, it's processed information, but it still stands out there until it is analyzed. That is, it is given, taken away from the realm of what worked yesterday, what my father knows, to the tools we have now for dissecting complex, dynamic, differentiated knowledge that drives the world of intelligence these days, such that we know what the intentions of other people, what they may be, and we know how to counter those intentions. But having said that, so that's the second level. So do we have good products of intelligence? Now, beyond products of intelligence, what about capitalizing on intelligence? That means the consumer of the intelligence is the executive. Usually it's an executive, some executive, state governor, president, whoever, a decision maker, even MDs of companies, they are also consumers of intelligence. Now, if that intelligence gets to the consumer, how is he going to handle that intelligence? Is he going to make a decision in a prompt fashion? I'm sure you've heard the issue of political will. Yes, those executives, they had the intelligence, but did they make prompt decisions such that lives will be saved and violence everywhere, like you described it, will be averted? So it's a question. So intelligence in and of itself cannot solve the problem. It's just a tool for problem solving. We have 2 problems. We have structural problems in Nigeria. Number one, we don't have a good gathering mechanism. We don't have good mechanism for gathering intelligence. In other countries, common people pick up the phone and call their governments and give information, and they have numbers that you call and give this information. You don't need to be a brain surgeon to figure out how to call government and give. And then when you call, it's treated treated with seriousness. But you know, in Nigeria, when you call, in fact, even I know a situation recently in one call center where they called and they said they should go and give the phone to the armed robbers so that they will know whether they are really robbing the place. Okay, yes, it sounds humorous, but you know, in fact, in some cases they've called and they say, bring a car or bring fuel so that we can come and respond to your incident. So now when you call and say, oh, I suspect some people, they are buying a lot of fertilizer, they are buying, what's it called, diesel, and maybe they want to make ammonium nitrate. You don't have to have all that information, just because intelligence is bits and pieces. I see somebody buying a lot of fertilizer. That's already one very useful information. When you now put it with diesel, you now do what we call connecting the dots. Fertilizer and diesel, you have ANFO, ammonium nitrate, fertilizer, oil, ammonium nitrate, fuel, oil, bomb, which means the guy is ready to make a bomb. You know, but you know, we miss all those signs. There's a break-in at a quarry, and a lot of explosives is stolen. And it's like, big deal, oh, explosives are stolen. Okay, go and buy more. What happened to the explosives that were stolen? You know, so that is intelligence. Now, something like that happens, who reports it to the authorities? Now, even if the owner of the quarry does not report, and most quarries in Nigeria are owned by foreigners, even if the owner of the quarry maybe is not, well, he doesn't have to be trusted, he's not a Nigerian, he doesn't report, do the Nigerians working there report? Are they encouraged to report? Are they told that these things are important, that this information is of national security importance? You know, these are the things, the leakages that occur in the system that end up becoming issues of terrorism or, you know, whatever, like you called it, violence everywhere. That become issues of violence everywhere. And we are surprised. We are like, oh, why are they killing people? Well, we didn't do much about it, and we don't even have an infrastructure in place. Okay, so that is gathering. How do we gather intelligence? So this is something that needs to be thought about in a strategic manner, both by the intelligence agencies, people like DSS, the intelligence agencies within various organizations, police, CIB, Criminal Intelligence Bureau, and other, you know, such agencies, even civil defense. They now have an intelligence infrastructure, you know. Yes, and then, so they should now all have ways in which this information is gotten through, pass through some kind of a clearing house. Usually is Office of the National Security Advisor, so that we have what we call a threat matrix. When there's intelligence coming in, you put it in for it fits into a threat matrix, and then it's analyzed. That because that means there is validation that this piece of intelligence that is coming in, it could have probative value, that we can prove something. So you now analyze it, and then you can connect the dots before you now go to the executive to submit your product of intelligence such that decisions could be made. So you see, if you must satisfy those three conditions, they are all necessary and sufficient conditions for intelligence to lead the way.
About surveillance, why it's so impossible for Nigerian. You talked about having a specific need for information, so you process for a target what. Yeah. Now, Sambisa Forest, it's like it's out of space. Government after government has not been able to lay enough surveillance to destroy Boko Haram. Why has it been that way?
The intelligence infrastructure is missing. There must be, you see, we pay a lot of lip service to things. We say, we need intelligence, give us information, we need intelligence. What have you done to make that possible? What have you done to make that happen? First thing you must do is you must have a deliberate platform where there is call logging, there's voice logging. When this intelligence comes in, it's logged. And you must now demonstrate that this intelligence that comes in is going somewhere. That is what encourages people. people in other countries, they give intelligence to their governments, not because they are only patriotic, that's good, but because it is demonstrated. There is something that is seen. They see that the help they give to the government benefits them as citizens and benefits their communities and benefits the government in its drive or in its fight against crime and criminality. So if you don't prove, people are show me, people are like, if I don't see, if they don't see, they will not believe it. So if you don't let them see that the fruit of their labor, that's the information you give to them, is useful, then very soon it will dry up. So that's what is prolonging the fight, or that is what makes it impossible. What we are doing is we are just combating. We are fighting. But we can fight smartly. We can use the wisdom of the crowd. We can have people give us information in all these communities, even when the battle was raging at its highest. You know, what we kept saying was use force multipliers. Force multipliers. Use people, give them some mobile phone numbers, let them call in tips to you when they observe certain things. And when you get those tips, you capitalize on them. You must build a symbiotic relationship with and trust with the public that you serve, such that there will now be a pipeline, a good flow of intelligence in your direction. It's not something that you do by fiat. It's not by saying you must give us intelligence, but it won't come. It won't come. Look at what happened there. Let me give you an example. Look at of a successful intelligence operation. Look at what happened with civilian JTF. When the JTF went in there as JTF Uru, they were flying blind. They didn't know anything. They were just flying around and they didn't do anything, and then it was shut down after 6 months. But when they went for the second time, and the youth on their own, because of the victimization they had suffered, volunteered that, okay, we will now create so that you know that we are not all bad. We will give you information. We will work with you. Guess what happened? They became very productive because the youth were dragging out the Boko Haram guys who were totally unknown to these soldiers, and bringing them and saying, this guy is Boko Haram. And, so the tide of battle started turning in their favor, Now, but aside from these young people who volunteered, what about the larger community? How have you empowered them with information, even with incentives, financial incentives? It's better to spend 10 million naira on information in community than to spend that same money to pay for burial of people that Boko Haram has killed or property that they've destroyed. And that's what we are saying. We are not doing the naira and kobo, the profit and loss of this thing, such that we know what is really in the best interest of our communities and what is in the best interest of the security agencies in terms of getting the intelligence they need to fight the war. Back to Sambisa Forest. Well, I give you one story. In April 2014, after the kidnap of the Chibok girls, the Americans were flying ISR. ISR is Intelligence, Surveillance and Reconnaissance Mission, from base in Niger. And they picked up Boko Haram charter. Yes. They knew where the girls were. They picked up Boko Haram charter and they relayed it to our authorities. And somebody very high in the chain of command got up and said, we know where the girls are. We have found the girls. And when he said this, the Americans were very pissed off. Now, this is what they used was technical surveillance. They used the technical surveillance. They detected the presence of the girls. When they gave that to the military, to the government, the authorities, let's say, it was supposed to be secret information, which they were to capitalize on. But once the guy now said, we know where they are, of course, the enemy, they were listening. So they now covered their tracks well, so that when they flew further ISR flights, they couldn't find them. So in fact, eventually the Americans were disgusted and they pulled off. They stopped flying ISR in Nigeria in search of the girls, because President Obama has signed a declaration, a presidential directive, that the military should go out, the U.S. military should go and help us find the girls, assist find the girls. So now we have, let's fast forward, we have moved forward since then. We have even acquired our own ISR assets. We've acquired our own ISR assets. It's domiciled with the Nigerian Air Force, you know, and that is how they are doing this integrated battle format now, whereby they will locate the Air Force will locate the enemy on ground. Is with the ISR flight. ISR will now call in an airstrike or a gunship to come and attack aerially, conduct an aerial attack of the enemy location. And when that is ongoing, they also now call in the ground forces, the army, to go and intercept. Now, what has happened more recently is that there appears to have been some silo mentality among the agencies, so they are not sharing information.
What can be done to stop interagency rivalry?
I think holding the service chiefs to a high level of ethical conduct and collaborative conduct is very important, because who are we serving? We are all serving one Nigeria. We are not serving two Nigerias. So if we are serving one Nigeria, then we ought to work together for the common good. If the measure, the ultimate measure is performance, there's nothing more. How effectively are you performing? If you're a security agency, are you giving us value for money, the investment in your service or in your agency? Are you giving us value? If you're not giving us value, the person should be shown the way out. So when it becomes rooted in performance, not in mediocrity, then things will shape up.
These are the many faces of members who have undergone various stages of de-radicalization in this facility. There are of various age range and are looking eager to be reintegrated into the society. Today, they breathe the fresh air of freedom as they are being handed over to the Borno State government by Operation Safe Corridor of the Nigerian Army. The commander of the operation gives insight of the motive behind the handing over of the dreaded sect members to the Borno State government.
The polity was very high, and we also had resurgence of attacks in northern Borno. So we felt the chairman of Operation Safe Corridor, the chief of defense staff, felt that that time was not right to releasing the boys into the society for security reasons. And that is why we held them back in the camp for another for about 8 months. And now that the situation has stabilized, the polity is already, and new governments are in place, and we approached the state government, and the government was magnanimous. You can see, as demonstrated with the function we just had, to receive them. We hope that this will be sustained, and it will also be a source of encouragement to the boys that are in the bush there. We are keep on telling them, we are keep on advising them, we keep encouraging them to embrace peace.
Receiving the converted members, the Borno State governor, represented by his deputy, was ready to support in their rehabilitation.
The Borno State government is ever ready to accept all those who are willing, let me quote again, to leave this ungodly act of terrorism ever ready to support them. We are ever ready to give them chance to come back.
Some of the members share their experience as they regain their freedom.
We were taught cosmetology, shoemaking, barbing, carpentry, tailoring. After all this, we were given the opportunity to learn how to do poultry, fishing, and there are religious teachers who put us in the right direction on how to practice our religion, different from the misguided or wrong way of worship. We are aware of the difference now. National Orientation Agency also taught us things too. We are taught liberalization, how to live anywhere in the world.
I want to appeal to Borno State government to support us financially to start our business, because we are all training in many activities like shoe making, welding, carpentry, barbing, cosmetology, tailoring. We want government to support immediately so that what we learn will prevail. It's my honor and privilege to express my gratitude and appreciation to the federal government of Nigeria and Borno State. My appreciation to all our visitors.
A good initiative and a sign of peace returning to the troubled region of the northeast of Nigeria. This would encourage the remaining fighters to embrace peace and would see to the rapid end of the insurgency war soon.
Before we go, here are some security tips for you. Now with that, we've come to the end of this week's episode. Remember to send your comments coming to primewatch@tvcnews.tv. You can also tweet at me at @IvyKhan. Do have a crime-free week.